Hello Summoners, welcome to MainDeck Masters. You've been waiting patiently for it, and here it is, Dragno King, here in the last video of the Proxy Play series. I am playing purple-green control on the left, and David on the right is playing Dragno King. It's kind of a faster version of Dragno King, very tempo-oriented, with kind of a Pterosaur Emperor Beast start for Nexus Hazard to make that reduced in cost. But it is a very fun build. I'm not sure about the full builds of these decks because they're both really early iterations, but I just wanted to show off this game because I get absolutely demolished by David. You saw the thumbnail, you saw the title, so just enjoy watching me get absolutely destroyed. David's going to start off with a Scorched Battlefield, and then on my turn, I'm going to play the Shadow Elemental and then a Cavalier, and drawing off of that Cavalier. We're going to swing in with the Cavalier, taking David down to 4. And moving on over to David's turn. David's going to play the Oviraptidon and right into the Dino-Man Tyrannoid. And then he's got 2 cores that he can place on that Scorched Battlefield, and he's going to be able to draw off of the Scorched Battlefield. He also plays a card in the Burst Zone. I do believe that's probably going to end up being a Star Blast draw. I take the damage going to 4, and he's going to draw off of that damage from the Oviraptidon, and he's going to swing it in with the Dino-Man Tyrannoid. I go ahead and block with the Shadow Elemental. I don't want to take more damage and give him the draw, but maybe I should have taken it because you will see I have a really hard time with my reduction. But let's see it's been a minute since we played this game, so I go ahead and play the Cavalier, a second Cavalier out. I don't exactly remember everything that happens, I just know that I get absolutely destroyed in this game. So we're going to set each Cavalier to level 2 and pass on over to David. We want to be able to block so he does not get any more out of that Scorched Battlefield. And then he's going to play the Bearded Eagle and a Star Blast draw, drawing 2 cards. And, I mean, the Bearded Eagle is just so good in almost any red deck. It comes down for free, and it has an amazing stat line. Now, I'm asking for numbers from Dave because I do believe I have a Burning Force in the hand. He's going to swing in with that Bearded Eagle. I'm going to go ahead and take it, going down to 3, and he's going to draw a card. Let's see what happens after this. He's going to pass on over to me, and I think I end up playing this Burning Force. So let's see, I draw the card. Yes, it looks like the Burning Force is probably going to come down for me just to try and mitigate some of this. And instead of taking the Scorched Battlefield, I destroy his field because I want to be able to not take a bunch of damage. And we are going to swing in with the Cavalier. He's going to go to 3, and I am going to pass. But you do see the Ice Shield in my hand. I do believe I have another one set. We have a Needle Shot in hand. I do believe there's a Black Lance. I'm just trying to figure out what I can do from here. And David's going to play the Bowl Dragron General, a 4-cost Dragonoid, 3 reduction. It has a decent stat line. There's not a lot of great Dragonoids to play in Dragno King, which is why we're playing the vanilla and then the very early Oviraptidon, Bearded Eagle, and Dino-Man Tyrannoid. So I'm already down to 2. David's going to swing with that Dragron General, and I'm going to block with one of my Cavaliers, staying at 2 life, 1 card on the field. He's just got me in a pretty bad spot. So let's see what I decide to play out. I think a Lamorak comes down here. So yes. No, we're going to play the Black Lance. Paying 5 for that Black Lance just to try and draw. And there's not really much else that we can do. And then the Elemental coming down just to try and get some blocks off and mitigate any more of this damage that David is sending my way. And David is in a very strong position here, and it looks like he's going to bring out that Dragno King. There he is, paying the 5 cores for it. He is going to destroy the Black Lance off the Dragno King. And let's see, David goes ahead and puts 3 cores on that Dragno King, and if I take the damage, I can either take the damage, or if I block, I will lose my entire field. So I'm going to take that damage and flip the Ice Shield, going back to 2 and recovering, ending the turn, and just Well, this Dragno King's out. What are we going to do? I don't think I have a Core Drain in my hand or anything like that to mitigate the damage from this Dragno King. So I may be just trying to go in. There is a Mushrantula in my hand. I'm not too happy with the Mushrantula. I did end up cutting it for Worker Ant-Man. I'm much happier with the Worker Ant-Man in the build, being able to ramp for generally pretty cheap. But the Dark Knight Lamorak does come down with 3 cores on it. It's going to be able to remove a core from something if it dies and loop a card back to hand, if I so choose. And I do believe, yes, we are putting our spirits up to level 2. And what are we doing from here? I'm not in a great spot, but we are just swinging in with that elemental, hoping maybe it dies. We can draw off of it and loop it with the Lamorak. And David is going to block with the Bearded Eagle. And we are going to play the Core Theft, and we're going to remove a core from that Dragron General, just to get a card off the field. We're going to draw off of the Shadow Elemental and then loop it back to hand with Lamorak. And do we go in or do we block? Or do we go in or do we just stop? I think we continue going in. See what David has. I do believe he may have a break, but in order to play the break, he has to kill one of his units. I do believe we are playing another Core Theft, just trying to remove David's field. He has quite a decent hand, so trying to remove some of the cards off of his field is very important. He's going to take the damage going to 2. And we are swinging with the Lamorak. And there we go. There's the Volcanic Break. Lamorak is going to die, and it's going to remove a core from Dragno King. I am going to be calling out the Beldegor. And the Lamorak should have... That was a misplay, actually. The Lamorak should have removed a core from Dragno King. That's something that I forgot. This was pretty early on in us doing proxy play, so some misplays can be expected from this. I was not really playing it to the best of my abilities. Lamorak was very new, so that Dragno King should definitely not be on field, but I don't think it makes too much of a difference whether or not the Dragno King stays on field, because I'm pretty sure David plays something very spicy here that I put in the deck. Yes, it was a Nebula Dragon. He throws it down, swings with that. I'm like, yo, you need the Soul Core on it to do 2 damage. And he's like, oh yeah, let's put the Soul Core on it. So whether or not the Dragno King was alive or not made absolutely no difference. I'm like, oh yeah, we put a Nebula Dragon. I put a Nebula Dragon in the deck, and I completely forgot about it. He just takes me from 2 to 0. So here on to game 2, I'm going to start out with that Mushrantula, causing David to discard a card. He discards a Bearded Eagle. And like I said, I'm not a huge fan of the Mushrantula anymore. I definitely swapped it out with Worker Ant-Man for that ramp. David's going to play the OV and swing with it, taking me down to 4. Back on over to my turn. And we do have some interesting cards at hand. We do have the Amethyst. We have the Netherworld Depths, which I don't really get a chance to play the Netherworld Depths in this game, I don't believe. Like, David just put on way too much pressure. So we are going to play the Shadow Elemental, and do we swing with the Mushrantula? I'm not sure. Well, I think the idea here is, do we give David the cores? And the idea, I guess, was yes, we'll give David the core. I'm going to pass on over to David, using that Elemental as a blocker, a potential blocker, so David doesn't get too much damage in too quickly. And he's going to go ahead and play a Bearded Eagle on out, paying 2 for that, and it's going to be a 5k. Bearded Eagle, 5k for 2 cores, very good card. Just swing with the OV for 4k. And I am going to pay 2 to Needle Shot the Bearded Eagle, so it cannot attack. And David is just going to go ahead and Volcanic Break my Elemental. I will draw off of that, and I'll end up having to take the damage. He's like, okay, you want to Needle Shot me? I'll just destroy your Elemental. Back on over to my turn. We are playing another Elemental out. And we are going to Beldegor off that eagle. Get it out of here. That's 2 eagles down. I do believe we are going to just core up. I'm not entirely sure what we are going to be playing here. I probably should have just gotten rid of the Mushrantula and played out the Netherworld Depths, but that's something that I missed on here. Just use the core from the Mushrantula to play the Netherworld Depths, but I did not. We just cored up and brought David down to 3, and it's on over to him. David is going to pay quite a few cores for the Nebula Dragon Andromeda. And let's see, what does he destroy here? He does destroy the Beldegor. And he's going to play a Star Blast draw, drawing 2 cards. No need to set it. He's like, I'm just going to keep it up. I'm just going to play it. Just going to play it here. And he passes on over. That was a good turn. He destroyed one of my units. He drew some cards. Not trying to go too fast. Just setting himself up. Let's see, what do I decide to play here? I do have 2 Aldeed in hand. The Greybird Aldeed I am enjoying in the deck. With the Worker Ant-Man, it's a much better line of play than having the Mushrantula. So we do have the Aldeed. It's going to exhaust that Andromeda. And we're going to swing with it, and since it's level 2, we are going to ramp a core. David is going to block with the Ovi. And I can swing with the Mushrantula. I cannot swing with the Elemental anymore, but I can swing with that Mushrantula. Do we swing with it? I'm like, I do not like this hand. We do have a Netherworld Depth, another Aldeed in hand. So we have a hand, but is it a great hand? We have a Limerich. Nothing really super good here. David is going to, he's counting his cores, trying to figure out exactly what he wants to do. I think he's considering just playing the Dragno King out, honestly. I do believe he has one in his hand. And he's going to pay 3, and never mind. He's playing out a Volcanic Cannon. He wants to be able to get that filtering. He's going to Burning Force off my unit. That's why I was like, maybe I should have swung with the Mushrantula, because he just went ahead and Burning Forced it. And gonna go ahead and swing in with that Andromeda. It's gonna take me down to 2. Back on over to my turn. I have no purple reduction at all, and it's a little tough here. It is a little tough here. I have, that looks like a Cavalier in hand. I have a Lamarck in hand, but it's like I have to pay full price for all of these. So we are going to play the Cavalier and draw into a Curse Dragon. Maybe that Curse Dragon can help me out in a bind, but not really drawing into what we want. We want some low drops, some stuff to help, mitigate this hand that we've got, but we really don't have anything, and we're just going to pass. Might as well just pass on over. There's not much we can do. We're only at 2 life. If we swing out and he plays another Nebula Dragon, then we're doomed. David is going to ditch that Nexus Hazard off of the Volcanic Canyon and bring out the Dragno King, and that Dragno King is going to kill the Aldeed. I guess I should have swung with it, but it didn't work at all. It didn't work anyway. Went ahead and destroyed the Aldeed. Now he's got 2 units on board, and I'm staring down both of them. Let's see what David decides to do here. He's going to swing in with that Dragno King, and I either go to 1 or I lose my Cavalier, and I block with the Cavalier, lose the Cavalier. We are going to call out the Beldegor, but the problem here is I call out the Beldegor, and then David's like, well, I'm just going to kill it with Dragno King because it's got the Soul Core on it. And I'm like, but I'm going to call out Beldegor and miss the timing. And he's like, no. The thing is, since Dragno King's ability is activating and David is the turn player, he can give priority to me. He gives priority to me to allow me to play the Beldegor. And then I play the Beldegor, and then he chooses to activate his ability, which means no matter what, that Beldegor is dead. It's either dead or I save the cores and don't call it out anyway. So, unfortunate for me, I didn't have another Spirit on field, but I mean, that's what happened. I tried to mitigate damage with the Beldegor, and it didn't work. It's not going to work that way. And here we just pay a full 8 for the Curse Dragon. And David is going to lose his Andromeda, and I'm going to ramp 1. ramp 1 core. And that is a very sad Curse Dragon there. A very sad Curse Dragon. But, you know, I'm at 1 with literally 1 card. If David has a spirit, he drops the Volcanic Break. If he has a spirit, then I'm just dead. So he's going to core up entirely his Dragno King. And I guess I have to block with the Curse Dragon, and it dies. There's nothing else I can do here. Block with the Curse Dragon and live for another turn, but it doesn't really matter. He's at 3, I'm at 1. I'm like, okay, let's play this Mushrangel out. Let's ditch a card from your hand. Let's see what David discards. And he discards the Bearded Eagle. He's like, guess what? I could have killed you last turn, but I'm trying to. But he's playing with his food. I'm like, that's a little BM right there. That's a little BM, bro. You could have killed me last turn, but he's having too much fun, absolutely wiping my board every turn. And I played the Aldeed out. Not really too much that I can do here. We play out the Lamorak and hopefully have enough to do something. And pass on over to David. David's like, okay, well, here's 2 Bold Dragron Generals. He's like, all right, I am going to just end you right now. He's counting up his cores, and there comes another Dragno King, taking out the Lamorak. I'm like, all right, well, Lamorak dies, remove a core. We've got the Bold Dragron General coming down as well, and I mean, it's over. It is over. I'm like, okay, what can I do here? I'm going to Needle Shot his other one, but I block with a single unit. He's going to destroy the other one. And I should have blocked with Mushrangula and then gotten rid of it to Needle Shot the other one, but honestly, it didn't matter. He was way ahead. He had way too much. I had a Black Lance and a Netherworld Depth, so it was absolutely nothing I could do in this situation. He just kept blowing up my field, and I had no reduction. I had nothing that I could do. This Dragno King deck, it messed me up. It really did. Hope you guys enjoyed, and the wait was worth it. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe. It really does help out a bunch. Have a great day, everyone, and we'll see you in the next video.